Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Let's take a look at the headlines. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar attends Phagwah celebrations in South Trinidad with her family. Speed guns to soon be implemented once amendments to the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Bill is passed. And TNT Coalition of Services Industries to host inaugural Street Arts Festival in the Caribbean in June 2014. Thank you for joining us. It was the first time Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar attended Phagwah celebrations at Palmies Park in South Trinidad, an annual event in its 13th year hosted by the Pandavis Group. Mrs. Persad-Bissessar arrived at the grounds around 4 p.m. on Sunday to the resounding rhythms of Tassa music. The Prime Minister made it a family outing, accompanied by her grandson Cristiano Bissessar, her sister, and her nephews.
Throngs of excited supporters gathered around as Mrs. Persad-Bissessar exited her vehicle, eager for a chance to greet the Prime Minister. Mrs. Persad-Bissessar was immediately bombarded with clouds of powdered abir, turning her white shalwar into a splattered kaleidoscope. Unsafe, the Prime Minister greeted her supporters, painting abir on them as well. Finally reaching the stage, Mrs. Persad-Bissessar was again mobbed by celebrants, eager to meet her and share the Phagwah traditions with their Prime Minister and take a photograph of the moment. Organizer of the event, Chimnadath Maraj, presented Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar and her grandson with 2 sets of mini cymbals and invited them to take part in performing a traditional Phagwah folk song and chowtal. As Mrs. Persad-Bissessar and Cristiano chimed along with the band, she said she was unaware that her grandson Chris could play.
And I saw him beating the gel. I never knew he could play. So, son, say Happy Holi.
Happy Holi.
Happy Holi to everyone.
Happy Holi to everyone.
Okay, he's not a politician, he's just my grandson. I'm happy to have him here.
The Prime Minister said for the first time her government partially sponsored this celebration and hopes to see it grow.
We are very proud and happy to be with you in this 13th year. This is 13 years Pandavis has been bringing this celebration to Palmies Park. But today there is a difference. For the first time in 13 years, I am proud to say my government has sponsored partly this celebration here today.
She also apologized for not attending Phagwah celebrations in Tunapuna on Saturday, citing a delayed flight and late return from Florida on Friday night for her absence.
I was out of the country. I came in Friday and I was supposed to go to Phagwah celebrations at Tunapuna. But the flight was delayed and we came in very late. So I apologize for that, but I'm here with you today. Happy Holi, everyone. Happy Holi, Sitaram, Namaskar to all of you.
Joseph Lopez, News 4.
In other news, police officers will soon be empowered to trap drivers speeding above the limit. This, as amendments to the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Bill will introduce the use of speed guns to be used by trained officers along the nation's roads.
Transport Minister Stephen Cadiz is seeking to enforce speed trap guns if it is to reduce the number of fatalities on the nation's roads. In putting forward amendments to the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Bill in the lower house, Minister Cadiz says officers will now be zeroing on speeding vehicles exceeding the regulated limit on the roads.
When a car decides to either stop at 100 miles an hour, the distance it is going to take, there's no way you could stop. If that car loses, as the police say, the driver lost control. A car doing 100 miles an hour, if that car starts to roll and flip, it is ending up hundreds of meters down the road and mashing up everything in its path. And if any of us who look at YouTube and you look at some of these road accidents, it's horrific. You see cars completely dismantled, disintegrating. Okay, there's no way somebody could walk out of that alive, and therefore speed kills. So this legislation is here, Mr. Speaker, to put an end to that finally. We're going to put control on our roads. People in Trinidad and Tobago will, the same way they learn to wear safety belts, the same way they learn to not drink and drive, at least many of them, not all of them, many of them, the same way they learn not to use your cell phone while driving, you will finally now have to learn what a speed limit is. Because the police are going to be out there ready, waiting for you to detect you, and you're going to get fined.
Minister Cady says deterring this type of reckless driving aims to save lives.
At the end of the day, whether it is seat belts, whether it is driving under the influence, one thing for sure that kills is speed, without a doubt. And if you cannot handle a motor car doing excessive speed, and excessive speed can be described as the speed you're going over the prescribed speed limit, and then more. And that is what excessive speed would be. Some cars are not designed, even though the speedometer might be reading 140 or 180 kilometers an hour, but they're just not designed to be able to handle the road conditions at that speed. So speed kills. So what this legislation, what we are bringing here today with this act is to amend this act to be able to bring some sanity to our roads in Trinidad and Tobago.
The minister laid the case in the House, highlighting statistics and changes which have facilitated a reduction in road fatalities. He quoted statistics at standing at 181, 193 and 152 between 2011 and 2013, having a continuous trend downward, and noting that this had added up to be an overall 9% drop in the period up to March 2014 compared with the same period in March 2013. Minister Cady went on to explain how the speed gun will work in trapping perpetrators.
In using these devices, what is going to happen is that the device itself will have all the data as to the operator of the device, that the operator is in fact certified. When the operator, the police constable, goes out into the field using the device, when the device is operated and it picks up a speeding vehicle, if the officer feels that that particular vehicle is speeding and operates the device on the vehicle, a photograph is going to be taken of the vehicle, the license plate. All the information regarding the speed, the distance, everything will be on the readout. And therefore, and it will look, for instance, like a credit card slip. That's basically what you're going to be seeing, where everything is going to be there. And then when the vehicle is stopped and the driver has to produce his license, etc., then that information will be taken further. And then, of course, a ticket will be issued to the driver, and he will be given a copy of all the information that was recorded regarding that particular offense.
The Transport Minister says training will be provided for officers similar to training undergone for breathalyzer testing. Kimberly Calawan, News 4.
News 4 continues right after the break. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. A new sporting and recreational facility was handed over to the Shandanago residents in central Trinidad. The community building will serve residents as a gathering venue for many events to come. Opening the facility, Works and Infrastructure Minister Dr. the Honorable Surajratan Rambachan says the facility will serve as one that enhances community life to many residents of the area.
Residents of Shandanago got a little something to smile about over the weekend as a new pavilion and recreation ground were handed over to the rural community. The pavilion, which boasts of kitchen and rooms for holding events and meetings, in addition of a sporting ground that will serve to bring residents together for several activities. Speaking at the ceremony to mark the opening of the pavilion to the residents, Works and Infrastructure Minister Dr. Surajratan Rambachan says the structure forms a wider picture of working with community groups in developing a holistic society.
We must therefore promote a new lifestyle for our young people, which is to bring them out of those environments into a healthier environment. This is why also the government of Trinidad and Tobago has been mandated, ministers have been mandated by Mrs. Bissessa to work more closely with the churches, the temples and the mosques, and to help them improve their facilities so that they can provide more facilities for young people in their own surroundings. And this is something we are doing through the URP program and through other programs at the relevant ministries. Because we feel that and believe that there are some things that we can't do as good as the churches can do. And we have to rely on the churches, and therefore we have to partner with the churches in order to do those things, and we are fully prepared to support them in this particular regard. So this facility is not just another facility. It is a facility with a difference, a community difference. And I'm very proud this morning to be part and parcel of this activity here.
Done under the Rural Development Company, RDC, which is charged with the responsibility of building new roads and infrastructure in rural areas, the project marks another milestone in delivery to communities across the country. Bringing remarks from the RDC on behalf of the chairman, Robert Johnson Atten, Chief Executive Officer at the company, Tajuwal Sawan, described the new facility as one everyone can enjoy to the fullest.
Under the foresight of Dr. Rambachan, who was assigned the portfolio of the Minister of Local Government in June 2012, the ministry embarked on this signature program to build pavilions with a difference. In the past, you would have seen pavilions that appeared to be pavilions. Today, you see pavilions that give you the feel of a clubhouse, a facility that would provide meeting rooms and facilities for your use as you build in your community. You can observe the architecture, which is different from the usual past set of pavilions.
Located in the countryside of the Central Range, the Chandanagoa community once thrived because of the sugar industry, currently 1975 Limited. Villagers describe the new park and facility as one returning life to their home. Members of the community took the opportunity to express their gratitude in the new community ground.
There are so many benefits that can be derived from having an infrastructure such as this pavilion, and I am sure the MP together with the government will work to fix the playing field. There are physical benefits, there are social benefits, there are benefits for everyone, for the young, for the old. And we need to ensure that we fully occupy this type of infrastructure.
It's a very, very, very proud moment for us. After 60 years of asking for just a plot of land or a playing field or maybe a box drain, I mean, the MPC outshined all the rest. I'm not going overboard, but this is a monument for us, and we are indeed happy. I am a constituent of Couva North and the Chandanagoa area. What makes us so proud? Chandanagoa means the city under the moonlight. So we can say that the moon really is shining upon us. And just before the program began, we got the commitment from the government and Mr. Suraj Rambachan that they are immediately going to work on the cricket ground.
Since taking the portfolio in 2012, the Rural Development Company has completed 30 new pavilions, while it's expected to undertake 40 more in the coming new year. Kimram Kalawan, News 4.
The National Commission for Self-Help has given $350,000 towards the construction of a $3 million new headquarters of the Trinidad and Tobago National Council on Alcoholism and Other Addictions. The facility is being built at O'Connor Street, Woodbrook.
The National Commission for Self-Help is doing its part to assist those desperately in need. According to the organization's chairman, Sergio Mangaru, any project or program or any opportunity to help the downtrodden, the helpless, the needy, and any person or group which need assistance, the body is ready to make its contribution. Mr. Mangaru says he is especially pleased that his organization is able to assist the Trinidad and Tobago National Council on Alcoholism and Other Addictions financially. The body contributed $350,000 towards the construction of the $3 million new headquarters of the Trinidad and Tobago National Council on Alcoholism and Other Addictions at O'Connor Street, Woodbrook. Mr. Magru said it was a small donation, but it came from an entity with an overflowing heart. He noted that the problem of alcoholism and other forms of addiction continue to haunt our society, as indeed the whole community, and therefore the establishment of the Trinidad and Tobago National Council on Alcoholism and Other Addictions is more than a welcome intervention. Felicia Wilson Moore, News 4.
In other news, young Tobagonians between the ages of 17 and 35 have another opportunity to increase their chances of getting better jobs and building career hopes through a program called Hope HD, which was launched by the Ministry of Tobago Development recently.
Help Our People Elevate Human Development, or Hope HD as it's dubbed, saw 83 young adults sign up to make a difference in their lives. They will spend 2 years in various apprenticeship and young adults skills training courses, ranging from administrative to customer service, business development and meteorological services, just to name a few. Deputy Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Tobago Development, Mrs. Sharon Honoré, described it as an alternative pathway for youths.
This particular program provides an alternative education and employment pathway that enables participants the opportunity to obtain a certified skill, remedial literacy and numeracy training, CXC subjects, or channels to the prerequisites for post-secondary education in hospitality, meteorological technology, agricultural science, among many others.
She noted that another important component of the Hope HD program is the life skills sessions.
You can have as many subjects as you want, 15 degrees and 4 masters. If you do not have life skills, you will not survive this environment that is the world. I know it as a jungle. It is very tough. And the life skill training is going to provide you with the right deportment, the way to address yourself and to address persons in authority, how to do your resume, how to conduct yourself in the work environment and in public, how to present yourself, and in addition, it works on the inside out.
Featured speaker, Minister of Tobago Development, Dr. Delman Baker, said that the $26 million program will give the participants the support they need to rise above their present circumstances.
Today is not an ordinary day. Today is the day we begin to fight for a young generation of Tobagonians that must become the leaders of tomorrow. So you might see me in my jacket and tie this afternoon. But I am in a fighting spirit from today till the very last day that God gives me breath and strength.
The program falls under the ministry's Human Capital Development Unit, aimed at spearheading efforts to support individuals and non-governmental organizations so that they in turn can make a difference. According to the minister, this must be the focus and not the construction of monuments.
Many people go around building huge buildings, large structures and edifices to say, I build that. And forget that the main focus of any administration, the first priority of any government, is to ensure that its youth, its people, have the skills and the tools they require to take the charge of development to the communities.
Reporting from Tobago, Natoya Johnson, News 4.
Sport is up right after the break. Stay with us. The second annual Relay Carnival took place over the weekend at the Hasely Crawford Stadium in Port of Spain. The athletic meet saw hundreds of junior and professional athletes take part in mostly relay races over a 2-day period. However, the race which captured the greatest attention took place not at the Hasely Crawford Stadium, but instead in Kingston, Jamaica.
The Relay Carnival is a prelude to the prestigious Penn Relays, which are hosted annually by the University of Pennsylvania at Franklin Field in Philadelphia. Teams from countries such as Canada, the United States of America, Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Dominica, and Grenada meet and compete in the Relay Carnival. The event saw children as young as 10 years old competing in races like the primary school boys and girls under 11 1x1x2 400 meter. The highlights of the games, however, had nothing to do with races this past weekend. Instead, it surrounded a race which took place almost 50 years ago.
Away they go, and Trinidad the team to watch out there in lane 7 there. Lead-off man is Yearwood.
In 1966, Trinidad and Tobago's men's 4x400 meter relay team brought home gold in the Commonwealth Games in a then world record time of 3 minutes and 2.8 seconds. The quartet of Kent Bernard, Enwin Roberts, Wendell Motley and Lennox Yearwood had only 2 years before brought home this country's first ever relay medals with a third place finish in the 4x440 meter relay at the 1964 Tokyo Olympics. The groups were recognized at the Relay Carnival for their achievements, including the world record time at the Commonwealth Games. Here's a replay of that moment 48 years ago that will forever remain imprinted on national and world sporting history.
Wendell Motley brings Trinidad home in front. Trinidad take the gold medal, Canada take the silver, and a really great runway. Tim Graham on the last leg for England gets England the bronze, and a new world record for Trinidad and Tobago. The unofficial time slashes the world record apart. There are the 4 Trinidadians with the English quartet alongside them. They don't know yet they've broken the world record, but they must have broken it. We made their time 3 minutes 2.7 seconds against the listed world record of 3 minutes 4.5. So not only have those boys got the gold medals, they've also got the world record. That is beyond doubt.
Gregory McBurney, News 4 Sports.
When we come back, the first Street Arts Festival in the Caribbean. Stay with us. The Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Services Industries, TTCSI, is hoping to present its first Street Arts Festival in the Caribbean from June 20th to 22nd, 2014. To kick off this exciting and thrilling event, TTCSI hosted a Street Arts Festival media launch where the media got a sneak peek of what is to come when the festival hits the streets of Port of Spain, or that should be Woodbrook, Port of Spain, this year.
And the largest
The streets are expected to come alive. Imagine going from booth to booth, seeing artwork from local painters and other works. Hear the sound of music, of poetry, of prose, as your ears twitch in delight. According to CEO of TTCSI, Nirad Tiwari, this would be the country's first ever street arts festival, which is designed to facilitate the exhibition of the 7 sectors of the creative industry, such as visual and performing arts, festivals, music, heritage, fashion, and film. It must be pointed out that this festival should not be mistaken for Carnival.
Our largest block of membership is in the creative industries, and we felt it apt at this time to try to put together the first street arts festival in Trinidad and Tobago, as distinct from Carnival. We know Carnival is a street art, but as distinct from that, encompassing a number of the arts in the services sector.
This signature inaugural event is hoping to garner the support of the local community, engage private and public sector investors, and foster the creativity of visual local artists. The launch is envisioned to be a micro-representation of the planned festival. Mr. Tiwari says the benefits to be derived from the Street Arts Festival are twofold.
We believe, therefore, that there are many benefits to be derived from hosting our first Street Arts Festival. Street art festivals have proven to be a worldwide success for the development of the creative industries, artists and artistes, and are given an opportunity, artists and artists are given an opportunity to showcase their talent. And really, there could be no better way for our country's bright young minds, and not so young, talented souls to have a stage for their work.
TTCSI is a major advocate in the potential of the creative industries to contribute to both social and economic development. TTCSI therefore sees great benefit in hosting TNT's first Street Arts Festival under the theme, a celebration of art.
The purpose of the Street Arts Festival is to design an international platform for the arts, including the visual and performing arts, fashion, film, festival-related art, music, and heritage. It is intended that the Street Arts Festival will become an annual event, and it is our intention, the committee that is organizing this, whom I'll introduce in a little while, and the TTCSI, to make this a major international event in the coming years as we build on it year on year.
The Street Arts Festival, SAF, will be nestled between French and Carlos Street on Ariapita Avenue, Port of Spain, and this space will become a hub for creative energy with artists ranging from various artistic forms including music, spoken word, and digital art, to name a few. Joseph Lopez, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Thank you for joining us.